We mostly hear about algorithms in the equity world, but actually there's a lot of development that's been going on for years in the fixed income space as well. So today we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about another new development in that area. Hi, my name is Greg Crawford. I'm the editor of TABB Forum, joined by Paul Rowady, a TABB Group senior analyst. Paul, thanks for being here.
Good to be here.
So Paul, today we saw a news release from a company called Quantitative Brokers, and they've introduced a co-integration model for trading Eurodollar futures with algorithms. And I wondered if you could, first of all, just tell us a little bit about that model.
Well, this is a automated execution in fixed income, which has traditionally, the cash markets are over the counter, and that sort of culture has lent itself to slower adoption of automation. Now, of course, we've had electronic trading platforms that have slowly been incubating over the last several years, as you mentioned.
Right.
And now what we have here is the ability to monitor the market and to selectively and automatically perform Eurodollar executions and ultimately treasury futures as well, basically slicing orders up, perhaps executing them more quickly, more slowly, depending on the size, it really depends on the objective. That's what different algos do, is they perform different tasks, but on a highly automated basis.
And part of it also is taking the prices, kind of crunching them, and providing some sort of predictive component to that, right? Again, depending on your strategy, to help you determine when to get into the market, when you might, that piece of it, right?
What's fascinating about the fixed income markets is they're all sort of interlinked because it's all based on yield curves.
Yeah,
so
right.
and the treasuries and the euro dollars are sort of the main curves, and everything sort of flows off of that. Okay. So you model these curves and neighboring curves across various timelines, and that's how you ultimately feed and predict what you should do next.
Okay, all right. So you've got these models. Now, again, the quantitative brokers model is, they've come out with theirs, but banks have had these similar types of models for some time, but what's the difference here? What's the add that quantitative brokers is bringing to the table?
I think what's unique here, and you hit the nail on the head, really this automated execution in fixed income is a service or a capability that's really been bundled with a broader service offering from the larger banks.
Okay.
But the larger dealers, what they're doing is really using it on a more proprietary basis. They're not packaging it, they're not putting a name on it, they're not embedding it in software offerings and allowing the customer to use it sort of outside the house.
Right.
What is unique in the case of this latest development with quantitative brokers, or at least somewhat unique and incremental to the overall development of automation and execution in fixed income, is that now it's outside. Now it's sort of a standalone. And so you can see it, you can understand, it's got a name to it, it's packaged. And I think that's really the story here, number one. Number two, it gives access to maybe another layer, a much broader, somewhat smaller layer of these markets where CTAs, hedge funds, anybody can have access to this offering. Right. But typically, the larger players are already being serviced by the larger dealers.
Okay.
What I think is also interesting in this case is that you may get some of the larger players, the fact that they can now observe these algorithms sort of out in the wild, if you will, and I hesitate to use the word wild, but outside in an unbundled fashion.
Right, I see.
That it might be compelling to them to maybe use something that's standalone rather than unobservable as an education tool.
Sure, that's interesting. And so finally, Paul, my last question is this sort of the tip of the iceberg in this kind of development, or would we expect to then see more of these sort of out in the open, if you will, or being unbundled?
It's a good question. I haven't thought about it. I think that you certainly could, as automated execution and other streamlining, other efficiency tools across a broader product set. You could take this internationally. You could take this cross-asset. The correlations of these fixed income markets with equity markets, with commodity markets across various regions. Certainly you're going to see more of that out in the open as it becomes more and more commoditized. I think this is an indication that that the bar has been raised, or I guess lowered, as the case may be, where now the capabilities that used to be in proprietary settings in larger institutions and more quantitatively oriented specialist funds and prop shops is now sort of coming out in the open. So it may be the tip of the iceberg in the sense that you'll see more and more what was traditionally proprietary come out in the open, particularly in non-equities. Equities has been like this for a while. The fixed income derivatives, this is relatively new. Okay, so fixed income algos for the masses. Yeah, I think that's what this represents. Perfect. Okay, very good. Well, thanks so much for spending some time talking about this. So there you have it, fixed income algos for the masses, new developments as innovation continues in trading, whether it's equities, fixed income, you name it. So I appreciate you joining us. My name is Greg Crawford. I'm the editor of TABB Forum, joined by Paul Rowady, Senior Analyst here at TABB Group. Thanks.